Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. The red lights are on and we're going straight into this one. Red lights are out and we're away. A little bit of a mediocre start for me. Kellett, on the other hand, got a blinding start in his blue Fiesta SI on the outside there, gone round the two Class D cars. Ian Scruton, you just saw his nose poke up my inside. He's still just down my inside, so I've got to be a bit careful going into Druids. Hard braking, and as I turn in, whoa, there it is. I just got punted off by Ian Scruton. He didn't do it on purpose. As I turned in, I just saw in my rear view mirror that he was locked up coming straight for me. Took a bit of a bash there, put a massive dent in the driver's door. That's now left me a little bit of work to do. I've now got Alan Donnelly ahead. He's just going past Bateman. Good little overtake there on Cooper Straight. Now this is Surtees, which leads into McLaren, which leads into Clearways, and then, oh, I was trying to go around the outside of Bateman then, and as I was turning in, he got a little bit slidey on the brakes, and I had to turn out of the corner just to avoid a bit of damage there, a bit of coming together. So we got past Bateman, got him on the undercut. I've now got Donnelly just ahead. He takes a bit of curb on the inside there, which I try and avoid that curb because it does unsettle the car quite a bit. Hard braking up to Druids. Oh, I was a bit sideways there. That's I was looking in my rearview mirror and I could see Bateman coming right up behind me. So I tried to go into the corner as quick as I could. Little bit slidey on the rear. Rear tyres are still not quite up to temperature, so the rear's a little bit loose still. Got to be a bit mindful of that. So into Surtees, which leads into McLaren, and then Clearways, and then we exit on what they call Clark Curve, onto the Brabham Straight. And I can see Kellett's got a problem. He's pulling off. So that leaves one less to get past. So I've now just got to get past Donnelly and Scruton to win my class. Now I've got good straight line speed. Myself and Donnelly's car are very evenly matched. Well, he does take quite a bit of curb. You can see that unsettle his car. The rear of the car bounced up there. I favour braking a tad earlier and getting the power on earlier, coming out of the corner. I think that's a quicker way around. Down from Druids into Graham Hill Bend, leave it in third, take all the track and a little bit more. See what I can do about getting past Donnelly here. I know I was marginally quicker than him. It was like less than a tenth of a second quicker than him in qualifying. So it's tight. I mean, these cars are very evenly matched, very closely matched. So it's going to be tight, and good exit from Clark Curve is crucial because this Brabham Straight is slightly uphill. See, I got a good exit, drawing alongside Donnelly. Unfortunately, I'm on the outside. He's got the inside for the corner. Last of the late breakers. I'll let him go. Whoa, see how much curb he took. Now, can I get the undercut? I think I might just drag him up the hill here. I've got the inside, which is good. Laid on the brakes, turn it in. I'm looking in my mirrors. I can see he's tucked in behind me, so I've got him there. Good. So I've now just got Scruton to catch and overtake. Fly into there, using all the curb. A little bit more. Took a little bit of grasscrete. May get a penalty for that, so I've got to be careful. Fly into Surtees. I'm quicker than Scruton into Surtees, which is good. Might give me an opportunity to overtake later on, we'll see. Good exit from there. That's Clark Curve along the Brabham Straight over the start finish line, and I can see the two class. I thought I saw him waving, and I thought he was waving at me, so I gave him a little wave back, kind of like an apology for punting me off. But he was actually waving at my man Alex Hughes, who's on the pit wall. He's my pit crew for the day. You'll see him in a second. So good on the brakes there, right up behind Scruton. I favour leaving my car in third gear around there, and you don't have to worry about changing gear coming down the hill. Whereas I think Scruton goes second then third. You'll see when we come out of the corner, he gets an initial slightly better acceleration than me because he's in second, but then he has to change gear, and I don't have to worry about changing gear. So I'm flying in here, and I'm just looking to see if See, he leaves a little bit of a gap on the inside, so if I can maybe get right behind him, I might be able to squeeze my nose down there and get the inside coming through. Was that clearways? He's got a slightly quicker car in a straight line. You just saw me press a button there. That was because I'm following the cars very closely. I could see my temperature gauge was getting quite high, so I put the cooling fan on. It was up near 100 degrees, and you don't want to be running over 100 degrees if you can help it. Late on the brakes, so I'm just trying to get myself into a good position to get behind Scruton going into the Surtees McLaren Clearways complex. Well, it's the S-bend, so I've got to try and get as quick as I can out of here. Maybe used a little bit too much grass creep there, so I'm going to fly into here, not going to let off, full bore, see what I can do. Is there going to be a gap? Not quite this time. But then he was quite slow going through the apex, so if I can get down the inside, I think I can get past him. But then we've got a bit of a drag up the straight. Here's my man. Yay, wave to Alex. See, I've gone wide. That's not the normal line, but I've gone wide to try and get some air into the front to try and cool the car down. I could see the temperature gauge creeping up, and didn't want to overcook the car. Okay, so fourth gear down to third into Druids, late on the brakes, bring it round, get as quick an exit as possible, full bore, flat out all the way down here in third, let it rev to the rev limiter. See that red light come on? That's my shift light. Third gear, yes, good exit. Fourth gear, up behind Scruton. I'm going to fly into here, I'm going to not let off. Right, I'm right with him. Can I get down the inside, stick my nose down? Yes, there's a gap. Oh, I can't get it in gear. Oh no, I made a right hash of that. Right, back into third. I've now got Donnelly right behind. He's behind me anyway, but he's right there. You just see him creep along my left hand side. It's a bit of a drag race down the start finish straight, and that's there's Donnelly. I'm going to outbrake him. I've got the inside anyway, so I'm comfortable that I can get down the inside, provided he doesn't run into me. Good exit out of here. Yes, I've stayed ahead of Donnelly, which is good. So now I've got quite a bit of work to do to catch back up with Scruton. And these our lap times are very, very close, so it's going to take a few laps to catch him, but I'll see what I can do. Using all the speed I can around the corners. The key to these cars, because they haven't got oodles of power, you've got to just keep the speed through the corners, so I'm trying not to let off too much. You can see me using quite a bit of steering input on these slower corners just to get the front round. A little bit understeering. They are on slick tyres, but they weren't new, so they've done a race or two, and they're going off a tad already. There's my man Alex egging me on into fifth. Good. Down to fourth for Paddock. Slightly less steering input because the back end's a little bit loose around here. Sweep up here, fourth gear, leaving fourth. You may see me put my hand down there. I could see when I went round Paddock the handbrake kept coming up a tad, so I kept having to push it back down because you don't want any rear braking happening. Into Graham Hill Bend. Quite a lot of steering input, using all the track a bit more. I did actually get a warning for that later in the race, and got a black and white flag with my number against me on the start finish point, and if I had done it again I could have got a 5-second penalty, which would have been big doo-doo. So I'm trying not to use too much track if I can, but obviously keeping the speed up as well as I can as well. You may have just seen Alex there waving vigorously at me, pointing at my man, my quarry, Ian Scruton ahead in the yellow and red Fiesta. So I can see I am gradually catching him, and I can see the two Class D cars ahead are battling with each other, and they're holding each other up a tad, so they're not pulling away from us. So if I can get past Scruton, I've got a chance of maybe winning this race outright. Don't need to, I only have to win my class. See, I can see I kind of Scruton's car is a little bit wiggly on the hard left hand corner there, whereas I try being as smooth as I can. Look at that, I caught him big time there. He's quite slow through here, so Again, I'm going to see what I can do down the inside, see if I can outpower him. But I know his car is slightly quicker in the straight line. I think he's got less camber or less toe, which gives him a slightly quicker straight line, but not as good round the corners. Whereas mine's set up for a little bit better cornering, which I favour for the Brands Hatch track. Well, the Brands Hatch Indy track. Good exit. See what I can do here. I know I've got him rattled. Oh, he's outbraked himself slightly. Can I get down the inside? Yes, I'm on the inside of him. He's still there. I'm going to go out as wide as I can without pushing him too far into the grass. He's still there. You can see me looking. I wanted to turn in, but I didn't want him to come down the inside. Just got in. Used a lot of track then and a little bit more. Yeah, we'll see if I get a bad penalty for that. Hopefully not. So I've got to just try and get my head down, pull ahead, see if I can catch those Class D cars ahead. So the key to this is on the power as quick as possible, because you've got a long straight here and it's a bit uphill. Not a lot of power in these cars. I'm in a Fiesta SI, which is 130 brake horsepower. This is the BRSCC Fiesta Championship. So you've got Class A, B and D. So as I say, I'm in Class A, which is the Fiesta SI, it's 130 brake. Class B is they're 1.4 16-valve Fiestas, which are, I think, they're 115 brake. And the Class Ds, which are the two guys ahead, they've got 135 brake. They're the Z-Tech S's. Slightly more power, and slightly better cornering ability in those cars. Later cars, better suspension. So I've got to get my head down, trying to get away from Scruton. He's still behind me. I mean, you can't see it, but he is there. There's about 30 Fiestas on this track, and because we're all quite closely matched, we don't come up to lap them until right at the end. You'll see it right at the end. A couple of the Class Bs we come up to lap. So I'm trying my hardest to get up behind those two guys ahead. I can see they're still battling a little. They're very close to each other, but they're not really holding each other up too much. At the moment, you've got Abbott in front in the grey one, followed by Appleby in the white Z-Tech S. And if they can just battle a bit more and hold each other up, I've got a chance of catching them. So I'm going to pile into here as quick as I can. Oh, maybe used a bit too much track again. I'll keep on doing it, try and get as much speed through the corner as I can until I get a warning, and then I'll have to just... So here we go along the start finish straight. Well, this is Bradman Straight over the start finish line. This leads us into Paddock Hill Bend. Fast right-hander, hell of a corner this. If you ever get a chance to go on this track, this is a pretty good corner because it sort of sweeps away from you, then you get the compression as you go into the bottom of it. Late braking to Druids, because it's uphill you can brake a little bit later. That's round Druids, third gear, all the way down here in third into Graham Hill Bend. A little bit of curb on the left, and then take as much as you dare on the outside to get a good line out. Fourth gear, up Cooper Straight. So then this complex, you've got Surtees, then McLaren, brake hard, into Clearways, and then it's Clark Curve, they call this. And that leads us back onto the Bradman Straight, which is the start finish line. Let's see if my man Alex is there. There he is, sticking it out. Go on, my son, he's saying, you can do it. Catch those boys. I'm trying hard, Alex, trust me. I'm going as fast as I can. Our lap times are virtually identical, so it's going to be a struggle. It's a 20-minute race, but I'll see if I can catch them. Back round Druids. Now I can see Abbott still ahead, Appleby just behind. You can see I'm having to use quite a bit of steering input now. My tyres are getting a little bit hot on the front, so I'm having to use a lot more steering input. Full bore into there, didn't let off. Down into third, see what I can do coming out of here. Get on the power as quick as you can. Rears are nice and warm, rears are good and sticky. Now I can see Appleby's trying to get down the inside of Abbott. This is good for me because they'll hold each other up a bit going into Paddockfield Bend. Alex still egging me on there. So yeah, Appleby's got past Abbott. He's got him, and that's held them up a tad. So that's good for me. Will I catch them? This is the key. I am in the lead of my class, which is fine. That's perfect. That's all I really need to do. I'm just watching my rearview mirror. Scruton's still there, but he's falling away. I'm making a bit of a gap between myself and Scruton, which is good. Into the, ooh, that was quite a lot of grass creep that time. See if I get a telling off for that. So yeah, as I was saying, the Fiesta, this is the BRSCC Fiesta Championship. I'm in Class A, so it's A, B and D, and Class C cars, which there were probably about 40 of them, they have their own separate race. So there's about 30 of us on this race, and I think Brand's capacity is 34, so I think only 34 of them are allowed to race in Class C. My son Curtis was in Class C's, and so because I came to all the races to watch Curtis race, I was getting a bit bored of just watching, so I had a word with Pete Daniels of Daniels Motorsport. Said, is there a chance you might have a car I could use for the day? And yeah, he said he's got this one, which is quite a nice little car. Very happy with it. It's the only issue I had with it was the gearbox was a little bit sticky. It's obviously been used by a lot of people, and the gear change was a bit sticky. Other than that, nice on the steering. Wasn't heavy, wasn't light. It was just perfectly balanced on the steering. Good balance on the suspension. Well, Daniels Motorsport, they've been doing it for years. They know how to set up a car. It's got the proper Profex suspension, and yeah, it was well set up. It handled really nicely. I'm still obviously trying to get up behind these two guys ahead. I mean, if you were looking to get a car to learn to drive a circuit, this little Fiesta SI, perfect, absolutely perfect. Because it hasn't got oodles of power, it actually teaches you keeping the speed up through the corners. It teaches you how to retain your momentum throughout the track, and you've got to absolutely pummel those corners to keep the speed up, to get through the corners, so you've got good speed down the straight. So if I can get out of a corner, let's say 4 miles an hour faster than my competitors in the same class, then I carry that 4 miles an hour extra speed all the way up the straight. So let's say I was 4 miles an hour quicker out of here, I've got 4 miles an hour extra speed all the way up the straight, and that's the key to driving these cars as fast as you can. Keep the speed through the corners. Alex is still egging me on. I'm looking at the gap, and it's not really reducing. I mean, believe it or not, I'm working quite hard. I'm getting quite hot in the car. Car's getting hot, although now I've got some good fresh air coming into the bonnet. The temperature has stabilised. It was just under 100 degrees. See, I'm trying really hard to catch these guys. If they can just battle a bit more. At the moment, they're just like follow the lead a little, so they're not really pressurising each other. I think they realised that if they kept battling, I would catch them. So they were. Abbott's been racing Fiestas for years. He's a canny lad, and I think he was quite content to follow Appleby and just make sure they had a gap from me to stop me catching them. Yeah, I can see I'm not really catching them, so I've put my hand up to Alex. I think I've submitted. I know there's only a few more minutes to go, so I'm going to fast forward these last few laps and just let us go over the line for the finish. Quite good because it sounds like a Formula 1 car, Formula 1 engine. Through the corners, so coming here, I think this is the last section, and yeah, you can see these couple of Class B cars we're catching to lap. I didn't lap them in there, but the 2 guys ahead, so a little wave to Alex, thanks for the egging on, over the line, yay, class win, perfect, fastest lap for me. So I did well. Wave to my spectators and wave to the marshals. Marshals do a fantastic job. They volunteer, they don't get paid for it. Oh, wave to my spectators again. So yeah, the marshals, they don't get paid, and they obviously get to see the racing, and they're motorsport fanatics. but they don't get anything for it. But thank you very much for watching. If you're still here, please do subscribe. If you can, hit the bell icon and feel free to share my video. Cheers for now.